Welcome back to the Beyond the Sun podcast. This is episode 1. This is a podcast that aims to help those interested in leveling up self-worth, career, and income using an astrological approach. I'm your host, Nubia. Thank you for being here. In the previous episode, I shared how I would explore the topic of giving ourselves permission to understand who we are. The way I am going to approach this is by offering my perspective surrounding the 12 houses of the zodiac chart, also known as the zodiacal wheel. If you would like to have something to reference, I invite you to go to a website that I have listed in the description that offers, as of the time of this recording, a free Astrology 101 PDF guide so that you can get an understanding of what each of the 12 houses represent, even though I am going to explore that in my podcasts. So, as I mentioned before, there are no prerequisites for listening to this podcast, and you don't need to know about astrology to understand what I'm going to share. You can simply listen and still gain an understanding. Before I get into this concept of understanding who we are, I'm going to share a story and some background. On my second endeavor into business, because learning that being an entrepreneur is where it's at, even though I call cap on that. But buying into the hype, even though I didn't realize that's what I was doing, on my second foray into business, I went with a business model where I booked parties to sell women's jewelry. People, I had the biggest wake-up call when it dawned on me that the newest person to join the business had reached a significant milestone that I had not reached, and that person was a male. Did I mention that the business was selling women's jewelry? It dawned on me. It was in that moment I knew that success was not about a product. It was about the person. So let me share that and caution you that before attempting any endeavor, such as a coaching program, a business, changing careers, anything that's marketed to improve your net worth in any way, ask yourself a fundamental question. And that question is, who am I? That is so essential in determining how you experience success. Determine who you are. Remember who you are, Simba. If you don't even know who you are and you never took the time, I invite you to keep listening, because this Beyond the Sun podcast is a way for me to go through each of the 12 zodiacal houses, starting with house number 1, to help you see that in order to level up your self-worth, your career, your income, is you have to know who you are. For me, I experienced a number of learning opportunities. Some people will call it drama or trauma. I experienced a number of learning opportunities, but also I took part in personal development. And that led me to truly delving into my passion for astrology to give even a greater depth to understanding who I am. So I've decided that I'm going to go through each of the 12 houses of the zodiac wheel and provide some context and explore concepts. Starting with house number 1. The first house of your zodiacal wheel of the zodiac chart. The first house is dedicated to how the world sees you, going with your physical appearance, your personality, how the world sees who you are, who you're projecting as. But let's ask a question. Who is the one that decides whom the world sees? You, right? Who are you, though? So let me backtrack to my business, my experience with my jewelry business. The concept we have of ourselves is reflected back to us by how the world treats us. Whether it's conscious or unconscious, I want to repeat it. The concept we have of ourselves is reflected back to us by how the world treats us. The world is a reflection of our self-concept. Chew on that a minute. Believe it or not, it's the truth. So this leads me to introduce a resource to you, which is a book titled Your Infinite Power to Be Rich. It's available on Kindle for under $1 US. There's also a free audio read on YouTube. Everyone listening to this, I want you to read this book. I want you to read this book multiple times. If you're an audio learner, I want you to listen to the book multiple times. And to reiterate, before investing in yourself through a coaching program, whether it's for your career, for love, for anything, I want you to really make sure that you have a secure understanding of who you are, because there's nothing external to you that can make you whole. So if you think that you have to even read this book just to become whole, that is not what I'm trying to convey. The point of reading the book is to help you realize that you're already whole. If you do not assume that you are already whole, you must give yourself what you believe is missing internally. Give it to yourself with whatever means you need to do that. Usually it's your imagination, but as a Capricorn rising, I honestly did not use my imagination until I was beyond adulthood. Like I'm talking way into being a whole adult. I did not know how to use my imagination. Back to the point. There is nothing external from you that can make you whole. You must realize it already, and if you don't feel whole, you can give yourself what you believe is missing, and then the world will follow suit, because the world is a mirror. This sounds so hokey pokey, rainbow, unicorn. I'm telling you, it's not. But just like the character in my favorite movie, Neo in the Matrix, you won't believe what I'm saying until you try it for yourself. So this brings me to the topic of astrology. Let me reel it back in, stir it all together. Astrology is a tool in the way that a vehicle is a tool to get from one point to another. So if you're a passenger in a vehicle, how will you get to where you're going? Rideshare, airplane. Even if you have someone driving you or taking you, guess what's the most essential part to getting to your destination? Knowing where you want to go. We rely so heavily on a GPS. We have faith. That's what's called faith, exercising faith. We give the GPS the destination, but we first know where we're going. The purpose of this, the point in this episode is to really ask ourselves, who am I? Astrology was a wonderful tool in helping me to learn more about who I am, and it has helped me tremendously. But again, that first house in showing the world how to treat us is going to be crucial to everything else we do. So again, we're taking that holistic approach. In order to do everything else, we're going to zoom in on the first house and shows how it relates to every other house, the 11 other houses of our chart. So here's what I want to do. I want to read this book that I mentioned, Your Infinite Power to Be Rich by Joseph Murphy. I want to read that book for the next few episodes. And the chapters are short and they're so amazing in terms of practical ways to tap into the essence of who you are in order to bring about a change. So I'm going to read that book. I'm deciding here now. I'm going to read that book so that I can offer my commentary either at the end of the chapter or within the chapter. And I'm going to relate that to our self-concept. If this is too meta, if this is like too deep for you, I get it. I get it. Everybody's not into that, but it took me a long time, I would say over 20 years, to really become the unshakable version of me. And I want to do that in a way, I want to help reach other people so that I can help you shortcut your way to focusing on what matters. So it's not having a shortcut to the work, but it's just making a beeline to the part of working on yourself that matters. Instead of first investing in this coaching program, investing in a business, investing in this and that, or better yet, do them simultaneously. Read the book and live your life at the same time, because life doesn't stop, right? Life doesn't stop. So read the book, incorporate it into your daily life, better yet. Your Infinite Power to Be Rich. It all centers on who you believe yourself to be, because who you believe yourself to be is projected outwardly, and then the world reflects that back to you. So if you want to hear more of this kind of exploration, stay tuned for the next episode where I will be reading Your Infinite Power to Be Rich. I will take excerpts from it and I will apply an astrological approach to the houses. Also, if you'd like to get in contact with me, maybe to send an email, give a suggestion, or if you'd like to have me review your chart for in the moment aspects, not your not your birth chart, because I feel a lot of people have this service. But if you'd like for me to explore the themes for you for this year, or perhaps what's going on in the moment, I'd be glad to do that. The way you can reach out to me is listed in the description. I'll also have information regarding the book, and I'll also have information on where you can get that free PDF guide at the time of this recording. So thank you for joining me on episode 1 of the Beyond the Sun podcast. And I look forward to having you back next time. I'm your host, Nubia. Talk to you next time.